Is my business healthy? And if not, what should I change? It's a common question that comes up when I'm talking to small business owners. And while there's many ways to define healthy, the one that translates across all business owners is how much cash is in the bank. And that makes sense, right? I mean, that is the primary purpose of every business is to produce cash for its ownership. Now that cash goes on to, fuel different goals and missions for each ownership team, but the business itself is almost exclusively exists to produce cash. But the problem is cash in the bank, it's really a summary result, right? It's an amalgamation of all of your business activities. It's not very useful in diagnosing what you need to change if you feel like there's a cash performance issue. How do I know which lever to pull to get a different result? For many of us, we start with the idea that if I don't have enough cash, it's because I don't have enough sales. And while the old saying is sales cures all, not all revenue is good revenue. I think it's much more helpful to diagnose this in three categories. Revenue becomes profit, profit becomes cash. Those are your three checkpoints for how money flows through your business. You can also map all business activities to one of those three categories. So let's take a look at what I mean. Revenue, profit, and cash. The three checkpoints for how money flows through your business. But they also serve as the results for the individual core functions that every small business has. Those are selling, delivering, and managing risk. Selling generates your revenue, delivering generates your profit, managing risk generates your cash. Take those and add the two levels of operations. One is your strategy, which makes your decisions. Tactics is what brings those decisions to life through activities and tasks. And now you've got the small business blueprint that you're looking for how do I pull metrics from my business to understand which levers I can use to improve performance. As an example, let's take a business that we've decided we want to generate $500,000 in cash over the next 12 months. To do that, we've decided that we want to generate 10% of the revenue as $500,000, which means we now know that we have a $5 million revenue target. From that $5 million revenue target, we're going to assign a budget for tasks and activities of 20% to be able to generate that $5 million. We're also going to assign a 50% budget of revenue for our ability to deliver the product or service that we sell, which will then leave us with a 30% profit for the business. From that, math and this formula will tell us that we have 20% that we can allocate for the risk activities to manage converting that profit into cash. Now we have a good structure for being able to diagnose performance misses within the organization. Is our problem when we don't see enough cash because we don't generate enough profit, because we don't generate enough revenue? It is a much more clear relationship between those three as we go. From that, as you look ahead and you try to do your planning as well, or in the moment as you are looking at evaluating the activities themselves, all you're trying to do is answer for yourself these handful of questions in each area. For selling, what value do we bring to the market? How do we make the market aware of it? And how do we make it easy to buy? Great. Those three questions have a 20% budget assigned to them, and they need to generate $5 million in revenue. What's our product or service? How do we deliver it consistently and profitably? We've assigned 50% to that, which means we have a $2.5 million budget to be able to deliver on the services that we sell, which will leave us with a 30% profit. And then from that, we have a budget of 20% for $1 million to be able to answer the questions of what prevents us from converting profit to cash, and how do we manage the impact of those risks. That leaves us with 10%, or the $500,000 target that we've talked about. All of our decisions around tactics need to map back to this leadership structure and plan. Well, there you have it. 5 minutes of thoughts on managing the health of your small business. Hopefully you found a couple of nuggets about how you might structure your performance reporting differently and help you on the march towards generating the cash you're looking for in your business. If you've got thoughts or questions, please post them in the comments below. Looking forward to our next session.